Hey guys, it's been quite some time since I last posted, and I'm not gonna lie, this one has been very tough to make this video. I've probably redone it and redone it and redone it hundreds and millions and billions of times, but most of it was mostly because it hit home a lot. I've had to go back and relive moments in my life that were intense, that were back then they broke me, you know though I do have one good friend that I have to say, good, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of your family member, I'm proud of you as a family, you as a unit, as a whole. Keep going, please. My mother never got to, but I'm sending you the good vibes. I'm sending you all of that. Pretty much that's the preface to this. I had to go back in time, in my mind, mentally, to when I was a teenager with my mother. It was rough. It was intense. But keep in mind, right now, I'm in hindsight 2020 mode. As they always say, that's the saying I hear a lot. And I'm gonna stick with that because I know a lot of things now that I did not back then. And it helps me understand. It still hurts, but it doesn't hurt like it should. I'll explain later. I'll explain in due time and during the process. Pretty much, when I was a teenager, my mother had a stroke. That night she fell down the steps, and it was intense. It was very wild. It was a process. I just know she had the stroke, and then I don't even know. I freaked. I ran. I got my dad. My dad called 911 and got the ambulance there, and pretty much, yeah. Luckily for when that happened, when my dad, because I was like, Mom fell down the stairs. She's not getting up, and I had no idea. I was just a teenager. My dad comes down to check on her and be like, what's, and she's twitching. He's like, she's having a stroke. So we call 911. And yeah, next thing you know, I'm at home by myself. He ran. He went with. I was staying at home with my mom at the time. She was there as well, and I stayed home with her while they took my mother to the hospital. And unfortunately, it was too late at that time. There was damage, and she lost half her body. Well, if we could have got her figured out and out there sooner, it would have been very different. But yeah, due to that, she lost her ability to walk, which coincides with my good friend. She's got a family member who's going through the same process as me with that. Though with them, it's different. It's not a stroke per se. So with me, after that, life was very different for years. I was constantly going to and from hospitals, physical therapy places, home, school, just back and forth. There was nothing, it was just wild, just back, forth. Pretty much my usual schedule for the week would be I get up, go to school, come home, do my homework, then we go see my mother. My father and I would go see my mother who was either, like I said, in a physical therapy home or a hospital. Unfortunately, my mother never got well enough to walk it properly again. She was able to get to a cane walker, and for, go for brief stints. Not She wasn't able to go distances. So unfortunately, we had to wheelchair her a lot ourselves, and unfortunately, it was always one step forward, two steps back. Something always happened. There was a lot of hiccups, a lot of bumps. I know, yeah. But overall, like I said, that was pretty much my day-to-day life. Weekends, we go and see mom, and that was the only way I got to see my mother for a long time of those several years. There were some stints where she was home, and it was nice having her home, but it was just, like I said, that's what would make her have to go back to physical therapy homes, back to the doctors, because she just didn't do anything. She just laid there, you know. She was supposed to be doing physical therapy exercises at home. She was supposed to be doing this, that, and the other, and she didn't. And of course, back then, with me being a teenager, I didn't know that. I just figured, oh, well, you know. But looking back now, with all the information I know, it's very different. Very, very different. Because back then I figured, when I was a teenager, like, it's okay, my mom just doesn't want to get better. It's not that she doesn't want to get better, it's that it's a process that takes time, effort, patience, and unfortunately my mother did not have that. She was gifted with a lot of it. Do not take that any way which that way. She was gifted with a lot of it. But that, when she had the stroke, it altered her mentality immensely. She pretty much retorted to pretty much a child, in a sense. So basically the roles were flipped between my mother and I. Basically, I had to make dinner. I had to help take care of her when she was home, I mean, she could do the basic necessities, she could, use the restroom, stuff like that, but unfortunately, she couldn't cook for herself like that. She couldn't. And yeah, me being my still beginner self, I was the microwave king. I mean, I've advanced a little bit now. I mean, I can do like pasta and some other things. I can, make some stuff from scratch, so to speak. I'm not just a microwave king, or the oven guy, just throw it in the oven for like 350 for like whatever for 10 minutes, or just order a pizza. That's pretty much all we did back then, because I was just a microwave king. I didn't know squat. I was just, here's dinner, and that's it. Unfortunately, yeah. So yeah, pretty much I had to be that kind. I had to do the cooking. I had to do more of the cleaning. And yeah, it was strange. Like I said, back then I was their microwave king. I was just a teenager. I didn't really clean like that. I didn't really cook like that. And looking back, it's like, dude, I should have just taken advantage of back then and learned to do these things, learn these skills. But I was just a teenager. I just wanted to, hang out with my friends, do this stuff, and unfortunately, I'm still kind of that way. It's like, dude, I don't hang out with my friends, but I got, similar to school, I got work, so it's not like that. No. Like I said, looking back, it's like, dude, I should have done a few things differently. Because, sad to say, a lot of memories are with my mom. in the hospital, in the physical therapy home. Luckily, I've got a number of them, doing stuff with the family and, hanging out with her in the rec room. It's where she did. She couldn't do steps. She never was too good at steps. That's the other downfall. Another thing why I'm saying proud of my friend and their family member. Keep going, man. Don't let those steps fight you, man. 'Cause that was my mother's big downfall. I mean, looking back now, I can kind of see the PTSD of, she just kind of up and fell down the steps when she first had the stroke, so she probably had PTSD through that. So that probably minorly affected it, but I don't know about, she did good with the steps, though, when she did try, but like I said, one step forward, two steps back. So unfortunately, like I said, most of the time it was just her just laying there. And like I said, I can't blame her. I can't at all. I never did. But it's just, looking back, I just figured my mom just didn't want to get better. Like I said, with me back then. And I was just kind of like about it, But now, looking back with everything I know, it's not that she didn't want to get better, it's just that it was too much. Especially with my father being sick at the time, and, he passed away not too long after her, sadly. So, there is that. So, sad to say, back then I wasn't even thinking that. But my dad was very sick at the time too, and I never really fully grasped back then what it was. My father had cancer, and I never really knew or grasped it. He's had cancer since I was 12, so I knew about it for years, but I never understood it. Like I said, not until after my mother passed. When I was actually, learning things about it in school properly. I was just kind of told he has it, and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what that is. So, never was really explained it or anything, never got the concept, so I just kind of moved on, like, okay, I guess that's a thing. Just figured, okay. But, yeah, now with the knowledge I have now, it's like, so yeah, my mom was probably like, maybe she should be the one to, because, if dad were to go first, per se, if he was the first to go, I wouldn't be too good at taking care of my mother. And unfortunately, my friend's in that boat now, so already doing way better than me with that. So, I mean way better. I said I was just a teenager, no job, no nothing. I didn't know squat. I thought I was just a stupid teenager. But yeah, I didn't have nothing to my name, no job, no nothing. So, but now, yeah. But yeah. So maybe that's why she turned away at me. She was like, just, she knows yeah. It's hard accepting that. It's hard. 'Cause back then it's just my mom turned away from me. She doesn't love me. She doesn't care about me. But now looking back, it's kind of like, I understand. But I don't like it, but I understand. So, miss you, Mom. Love you, Mom. Same with you, Dad. Grandpa, all of you. Love and miss you all. Bittersweet trip down memory lane here. So, with that, I'm going to call the video. I think I've explained enough during this little process in the past. So, like I said, most of this was basically a shout out and say I'm proud of you, friend. Alright? Keep trucking on. Keep doing it. Keep going, man. Keep going. Alright? Remember, you're loved. You're appreciated, no matter what. Alright? Later.